That music window just goes boom.
The music window.
Dallas Diabos
Yeah, it just
Radio.
goes-
Dallas Diabos
happens?
Radio.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Dallas Diabos Radio. We're wrapping up watching the inaugural match of FC Dallas versus the San Jose Clash. And ready to do the show tonight. Who was at this game? Anybody? Anybody go to the inaugural Dallas Burn match?
I didn't even know it existed in 1996.
I did watch it on television, but I went to the second game, I believe, because it was in the evening.
Nobody else though?
No, I wasn't even in the United States yet. So
I don't think I went to a Burn game until like '99.
Yeah,
I was not in Dallas. I did not watch. I just watched it now. Does that count? It's 2020.
Hey, we got some new members. Can we introduce ourselves again? Because people may not know who the heck these two young fellows are that joined us.
These are old members.
Yeah, but people may have forgotten.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't been on in a long time.
Oh, you already set it up so it says my name. I am the Gabe. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was for a second there. I almost thought it was going to say my full
You didn't
government.
know
Like,
who he was.
I thought it was going to say. Normally on Zoom, at work it says like my full government on there. So I thought I was going to say something like that, and I was like, oh, let me just make sure. Okay, it says the Gabe already in upper caps.
It does.
So I'm the Gabe.
As if
Used to
you
be the
were
host of the podcast, but I got stabbed in the back by Chop.
Ooh, et tu, Brute.
What's the next one? I don't
No,
mind
just
at all.
play it. I'm glad we're doing this again.
Same. It's fun to watch these games with you guys. And
And who are you, sir?
I'm the Honey Badger.
Did you give a what?
I don't.
Family show.
Honey
Hey,
Badger don't care.
By the way, TMZ report says that the reason why we've gone 2 years without doing this is Chop over there claims that it's the Gabe's fault. So comment to you, the Gabe.
He took all the microphones away.
I did. You guys wouldn't play nice. I took my microphones. I went home because you guys wouldn't play by my rules. Wouldn't do show prep.
it was your ball. I get it. Took the
Yeah,
ball.
no.
Nobody else plays.
I like this video format though. I really like this angle to it. But on the Zoom, you get to see get to see our faces. Can't be anonymous anymore. Now folks will know who we are when we show up to games after COVID.
Yeah, we're gonna be famous.
So
Totally.
they didn't know who you guys were whenever y'all showed up with the names on the back of your shirts.
No.
No,
Okay.
We're not
And I was signing autographs. I don't know what these guys were doing, but
Okay.
True.
Well, so what was everybody doing in 1996 anyways?
I was
'96.
I was 13. This is just after right before the Olympics. This is when I fell in love with Dominique Dawes of the women's gymnastics team. And that was one of the greatest years of my life. Football was at its peak. The Dallas Cowboys had just won. You had another Super Bowl coming off the 1995 season. Also, it was the midst of towards the end of the Chicago Bulls, the run of the NBA. So I think this is kind of fascinating for me looking at this because for me, it was NFL, NBA were like king, and I didn't know anything about soccer at all where I was growing up in Tennessee. So this is kind of fascinating to watch at this point for me.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I was 12 in '96. I didn't really, pick up soccer until the '94 World Cup. I think the little dog mascot kind of sucked me in, and
It was
the
cute.
fact that the U.S. did as well as they did in that World Cup kind of really hooked me. I mean, I played soccer kind of on the streets with my cousins and stuff in Mexico, but growing up as an American kid, like that wasn't really ingrained in me. So by the time the Dallas Burn had come out, I'd been kind of privy to it, but I didn't really start picking it up until a little bit later.
Yeah.
What about y'all?
In 1996, I had no soccer consciousness at all. I don't even think I was watching the World Cup in '96. And for me, that happened later, and I think the 2000 World Cup. But in '96, yeah, similar to Zoe, I was NFL, NBA. I was probably trading NFL and NBA cards. I had a good trading card ring with kids at school with that trading.
What are those?
We were way cool trade in baseball cards and football cards, bringing binders worth of baseball cards and football cards to school.
Yeah.
Do you have any of those?
Such a nerd. I still have some, yes. I do, yeah. I mean, I got, rookie Grant Hills and yeah, I didn't have any of the soccer stuff, but so this is interesting to watch, to see something that happened even before my soccer consciousness. I didn't even know something like this. I didn't even know that MLS was a thing or anything like that.
I was a junior in college, and we didn't in Louisiana, and they didn't really show the games on TV most of the time. They would show other stuff like LSU baseball and stuff like that, just whatever, almost anything but soccer. They kind of had a thing against it on the local TVs. So I think the first time I saw a pro game was at somebody's house. It was like really early in the morning. It was like English Premier League or Bundesliga or something like that. But MLS was hard to watch in Louisiana for a while, at least where I live.
Oh, you know what I'd probably watch in '96? When did The Big Green come out? Did you guys ever watch that movie, The Big Green?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
1995. That I probably watched The Big Green. I probably had it on VHS in '96. So that was the only soccer I probably watched in 1996. Is this movie? It's 1995. It's a movie about a small town team that not a small town team, a small town that comes together because the elementary school starts a soccer team, and it makes the town come together.
Right.
Where were you?
It's like The Sandlot, but for soccer.
Yeah.
I got you. I heard about it. I never watched the movie though. So in '96, I was a sophomore in high school. I was playing club soccer. I was excited for a actual outdoor league because the only professional soccer I got to see live was whenever there was international games or just going to NASL games, which is the National Indoor Soccer League. And of course, there were some games that were like semi-pro, like right below those leagues that were outdoor, but I never got any exposure to any so-called world-class talent. So this was great. And I think this was actually following, just a great run of sports because I think at that time I'd started playing soccer just a few years before. So this was the second World Cup I experienced, and I experienced it here in the States. I actually went to 2 games, and the Cotton Bowl actually hosted one of the games, or 6 games actually. So I was able to attend a couple of those. And this was just fantastic that we actually had something domestically that we can go to, on the weekends and watch players and some of the players that actually played in the World Cup. So it was great. It was like a rebirth. I was actually seeing, okay, you can actually do this as an adult. This is great on this side of the water,
Rafi, you weren't in the States yet?
No, I was still in Brazil. I was 10 years old when the MLS started. Didn't even play soccer yet, in fact. I started at 12 and a half.
I thought Brazilians started playing at like 1 year old.
That is true. Of all Brazilians except for me, I was more of an academic kid. So for me, it was home, school, church, home, school, church. So 96, I watched the 94 World Cup, obviously. It was, a big deal every time the WC came around, but didn't play at all. So at that point, I only watched, that big event. But then at the same time, when the World Cup happened, I was 7. So I think that was probably the first thing I remember watching soccer-wise.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, lots been going on with the world. We're still doing the COVID thing. Everybody's still sheltering in place, but it looks like some of the leagues are starting to at least train a little bit over in Europe. Anybody got any information about that? Because we still aren't doing anything for MLS yet. They're saying late May, maybe June now for Major League Soccer.
So Taiwan was the first league to actually go back to full matches. They still have no fans, but they're playing full matches, regular schedule. They have resumed. Germany has resumed training. but in a different fashion. So they are still respecting social distancing laws as they train. A Brazilian player that plays for one of the Bundesliga teams gave an interview to a Brazilian news channel talking about his experience and how strange it has been with, no contact, no tackling, no getting near the other player. So they use a lot of dummies, a lot of sticks, a lot of cones to kind of mimic the positioning of, other players, opponents, so on and so forth. But they've been training somewhat on a regular schedule now, but in small groups, 3 to 4 people per group, and maintaining at least 6 feet away from one another.
So are they doing training on the field as well as strength and conditioning stuff?
Mm-hmm. They're Germany, yes, and Taiwan, they're doing everything. But in Germany, yeah, they're doing gym workouts as well as training on the field.
Okay.
Yeah,
It makes sense for Taiwan.
Some of the clubs, some of the other leagues are talking about doing everybody in one city, everybody all quarantined off, but still playing baseball or basketball.
Yeah. Major League Baseball is talking about doing that in Phoenix, possibly next month. But all the leagues have kind of discussed that. I've heard the NFL talking about doing it in West Virginia, NBA talking about doing it in Vegas. So, but at the end of the day, it's without playing out without fans, even though it's TV, it's just not the same. So I just think that's something they all come to. The only sport I think is fine without fans, honestly, is golf, except for maybe the Masters. You got someone you can maybe get away with everything, or maybe tennis. Otherwise, every other sport, it's just such a natural point is having the fans. So I think as much of a discussion as much as people want to get back to sports without the fans, it's almost kind of pointless.
Yeah, but I mean, people are so hungry to see it, though. I think it'll be successful because so many people will tune in.
I think it's worse for the athletes than it is for the spectators.
Yeah,
Because you're still going to watch it at home, but for the players, the atmosphere is completely different.
Hey guys, breaking news! Dallas Burn just won the game in the shootout.
Are you watching the shootout?
You watching the shootout?
God, it was
Yeah.
so bad.
Sorry, I didn't mean to spoil that 25 years later, but
Let's go.
No, the Burns.
Breaking it in.
Kind of piggybacking on what Joe was saying with as far as the local league. So the MLS, I was kind of reading through the MLS website, and they have extended the suspension through minimum of May 12th. And they also requested that all activities per each club be suspended at least through May 10th. So they submitted a separate training press release talking about how no one is allowed to go to training facilities for the clubs, anything like that. So everybody still has to train separately at home, not in groups, individually and things of that nature. Initially, it was March 12th. Then they extended it to April 24th, and then now May 10th.
Right around
And possibly even further too. They said that they released today saying that they think it'll even go past mid-May. They don't really see a path forward to bringing everybody back at mid-May.
Yeah.
But they don't have a new date yet.
Correct.
Just like possibly even moving back further.
They're kind of shooting to resume, kind of like Joe was saying, shooting to resume in August, sometime in August, mid to late August. And they kind of want to bring everybody to a neutral site and do the same thing. No fans to start and just kind of play the games. The UEFA Champions League is also suggesting, and I think they're going to be voting on that here soon. They're suggesting that everybody comes to a neutral site and then they play all of the games in a period of 2 weeks to actually finish out the Champions League tournament. Everything would be, instead of the way it normally is, home and away, it would be just a single elimination series. So you play once, you lose, you go home. In order for everything to fit in a two-week calendar period, and then have a Champions League winner, because this would be the first time in history where they wouldn't have a Champions League winner if they were to do that since it was introduced. Since changing from the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, it would definitely sound weird on TV without the crowds, but
yeah,
also be able to hear the coaches and exactly what they're saying to the players.
Yeah, but you hear, like, when the guy hits the ball, you can hear it.
You can hear it. if you hear a guy going for a tackle, you can hear the body stretch together. I think that'll be cool. I think there's a chance for innovation here when it comes to professional sports and technology. I feel like they can actually have us be in the game technology wise, kind of how like they've done the professional football league that they are doing outside of the NFL.
XFL?
XFL.
You mean the one that got canceled?
Yeah, the one that just went bankrupt.
Sure. But there's still good elements of it, you know. I think there's a little things like that. There's also other interactive things that you can probably take advantage of technology wise too. Of course, it's never going to replace the essence and the atmosphere of being at the game, but we're slowly going to have to start doing our social things slightly differently and kind of getting back to normal once we can, get past this.
I think it could be something interesting too, because I mean, there's as an American, a lot of the population in the U.S. doesn't understand how brutal soccer is, and if they can hear it, if they can actually understand the contact that is happening here, the anguish, the actual physical activity that's happening on field, I think they'll understand. Because football, if you hear a football game on live TV or whatever, you hear the contact.
Contact.
It's all of it.
It's it so you can hear it. Yeah.
Exactly. And if you're having these games with no audience and you get to actually see or experience the sound along with the visuals, I think people can kind of respect the sport a little bit more. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
The sound of a foot hitting a shin guard is
even the sound you make when somebody collides with you, during a soccer match, and you kind of you'll be able to hear everything and see that we actually experience pain. But
we can hear the screams of Neymar as he rolls.
It reminds me of that collision Chop and I had during that one of our little Main Street Garden games, where I was knocked on the floor for a minute trying to catch my breath. I don't blame you. But
Chop, you put it on?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a reason why he's called Chop, right?
Fair enough.
Chopper City.
Should be called a tank.
Yep.
Clyde and the folks.
The Amber when I was in high school.
Oh, wow.
30 player. Old 90s when you could tackle from behind and it was legal.
Speaking of, we experienced that watching this past game, right?
Can we talk about this game for a minute?
Yeah.
We can. Yeah.
It won't take long.
What game?
Oh, I wrote a bunch of notes. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, dude, let's start us off.
Okay.
So the main thing I wanted to say just watching this is it is interesting, the quality obviously lets you kind of think about how spoiled we are in today's world, the different angles we have, whereas this is just standard. This is deck cameras that are shooting just one way, and that's it. That's pretty much all you're getting. I mean, they switched cameras a couple times. You're not getting angles that you get. Was kind of fascinating. Obviously, the big thing is the hairstyles. Mainly number 14 and number 10. Number 14 had Jerry curls type hair, and then number 10 had this long, straight, beautiful hair. We had a man bun that appeared too. Thought that was interesting. The baggy jerseys was hilarious. But that was kind of the trend, right?
Very 90s.
It would be football or basketball, anything.
Yeah, just baggy everything.
Yeah.
But
Business in the front, party in the back.
That's right. But in general, I think the kits that the Burn had, they really need to bring those back. FC Dallas does as a third kit, or just wear it one time. So it looked really good. Meanwhile, the San Jose Clash at the Disco looked awful.
Should never wear those again.
So bad. Looked
Bad.
like a clown suit.
So bad.
Man, I'm not buying that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that was kind of those things. The crowd was pretty good. They said it was about 27,000 was the announced attendance.
Yeah.
The sound was good, but I found again that I really despise vuvuzelas tremendously.
Yeah.
I think the worst piece of crap thing that was ever created by man. It's very distracting, and I think it ruins the game.
They weren't called vuvuzelas then because people knew about them, but they just called them air horns. And then it became vuvuzelas in 2010 whenever the World Cup was in South Africa. So
Well,
people thought it was like a cool new thing, but it evolved.
It's awful. I mean, but the thing is I've tried to, follow it, but obviously it was in Spanish, which I looked up. I had that question beforehand. It was in Spanish because I think ESPN had a deal to show only like a few games, like 10 games, and everything else was picked up by, I think, the Telemundo or Univision outlets, which based on the Hispanic market I get. But I was kind of curious why they didn't start out with more English speaking at that point. Maybe they didn't have the money or there wasn't enough attention with
That's how
the
they
deal.
do it now. They split the broadcast. Some get Spanish and some get English.
But there's more English games now. I think the attention they figured that the market to watch the game was not with the English speaking market primarily.
Yeah.
I mean, every game is streaming in English now, and some of it in English.
Some of it.
And it's another thing, like I said before, that you can, we can go back and forth to English to Spanish, whether you're watching a football game or basketball, whatever, which is cool. Again, we're kind of spoiled with that.
Yeah.
Also, it's kind of funny looking at the crowd. They showed different shots. Obviously, you saw guys with like Cowboy stuff and Rangers, which is funny. There's a few people actually had the jersey, which I don't know how they got those jerseys at those times or how they sold them.
They were in the shop there.
I saw Sao Paulo jerseys. That was kind of cool, especially at the end. It was kind of interesting for Brazil. But it looked like people here or the XFL games, people were just like, it's an event to go to, and they just didn't know what they were clapping for. Just like clapping at the wrong time or whatever. It's like it was like the thing to do in Dallas, So anyway, I can go on and on about that, but that's some of the early stuff that I saw.
We were talking about the low quality of play, where we were trying to like count how many passes they could put together, and for 20 minutes we got to three passes.
No. We attempted to get to 3 as we were
No, we got to 3.
They weren't 3 clean passes though.
Right.
It was like 1, 2. I'm gonna struggle to get to that third one, and I'm gonna win that tackle.
And then that third one would kick to nowhere.
Yeah.
It was just like they just shoot the ball far and wide.
Here's what we talked about earlier too. We said that as much as we complain about the level of the MLS in comparison to other leagues, after watching this, the MLS today is basically the UEFA Champions League. Okay? This was enlightening. Okay, this was something.
They've come a long way.
Yes.
MLS has come a long way.
In a short amount of time.
Yes,
much more competitive.
I'm not trying to disrespect the MLS. Now, thinking of the level now by comparison, incredible. Like how far we've come, the type of players. But I saw a lot of very physical guys. Stamina, pace, just strength. But not a lot of technique, not a lot of quality with the ball, on the ball, movement off the ball. It was, just whoever is near or has the ball goes hard, all out every time. So there wasn't much of a plan or strategy or a tactic. It was more like, I'm trying to outpower you in order to, kind of gain territory and overcome this adversity. But
America, that's how we solve problems.
Yeah.
Yes, kind of like football, right? Gain territory, move forward.
Yeah, if it doesn't move, run it over.
Sorry.
Yeah. So it was pretty eye-opening to see.
There's very few clean passes. Very few clean passes. I mean, like you'd see them get close to the goal, and there was some semblance of like, teamwork in the sense that they're present and they're available for a pass, but it was just there was nothing that was clean.
And I also wanted to commend the United States in their participation in the 1994 World Cup, because not having a professional league in the country and still performing as well as they did is incredible. They got knocked out by Brazil, a 1-0 win.
In the second round, right?
Yeah, second round of playoffs.
And Brazil won the World Cup.
Won the whole thing. So yeah, incredible. I'm baffled that the U.S. did that well not having a professional league, and then when they did, the league looking like this. I don't understand. It's incredible.
Because think about it, the players that were on that national team, maybe I want to say a handful of those guys had exposure in Europe and they actually played professionally in Europe. The rest of the guys were just top college players that went and faced the world.
Wow.
And so
Ooh, yeah.
so thinking about that and coming to now and looking at the first, league game that the Burn had, it's fantastic because a lot of those guys it's a mixture of, guys that actually played in college, some guys that maybe have a little bit of professional exposure, some guys have a lot of professional exposure, and they just all put everyone together like a sponge and expected it to work. And that's what came out of it. But as you can see, it evolved fast.
Well, who was the big players? Was it Alvarez? Like, I was trying to look at like who are the main guys.
Leandro Alvarez, Jason Kreis,
Yeah.
Hugo Sanchez.
Hugo Sanchez. Yeah.
Also, hey guys, for the first time in a while, I actually saw a real goalie behind goal for FC Dallas, so that was really good. Yeah, I like the keeper, Dodd. He looked like a real keeper, so I was really impressed with him.
For a while. He was
Did
good.
you like his bullet too?
Yeah, I did. I mean, goalkeeper of the year, defender of the year. I mean, that's what it should be all about. Just saying, I haven't seen one of those in a long time. From
The hatred.
Wow.
Didn't take long for him to get that that hate
Jade.
for Jesse Gonzalez.
Man,
Joey, it looks like you're drinking haterade, not your other favorite.
yeah, and it flows freely tonight, my friend.
Thank you, Joe.
Damn. You know what? I respect your opinion. You're wrong, but I respect your opinion.
Yo, did you see the guy with the majestic samurai ponytail?
Yes. Yeah, that was awesome.
Just imagining these guys going to the clubs in Dallas and being like, "Yo, I'm a pro player."
What was the club in 1996? Like where? That's what I wanted to know. Like these
Probably
guys.
the red jacket. I didn't know what the
Was-
red jacket was.
The red jacket.
The red jacket, yeah. The red
Wasn't
jacket.
What was that?
The
For the
Start
kids at
Club
home?
or whatever still around?
I don't know if the Start Club. That was an '80s club, wasn't it?
What part of town? Like what part
I
of
don't
town?
know.
was it going to?
Downtown?
Probably
Downtown, Deep Ellum.
probably
Yeah.
Downtown.
West End.
Okay.
West End.
And Deep
Like,
Ellum.
I think it was like the West End. I don't
Did they
forget.
have, like, a
I'll just
Dallas-
tell you this. Maybe like 4 years later, I was able to go out and hang out at these places. So by then, I don't know if those places were still cool. But
I was
it
12
wasn't
in '96,
then,
so.
couldn't tell you. Yeah.
I did wonder that, like in Dallas at that point, like where they going afterwards. Where's the after party? Is there a Dallas Burn after party? No one knows they are. Like, and in walk some Cowboy players. Are like, oh,
Get out of the way.
yeah,
Went home and hung out with their wives.
yeah,
Probably. Yeah, what
Yeah.
were their salaries at the time? I mean, MLS, was it anything decent?
I don't know. When I started paying attention
happy.
in 2000, they had players that
Put it
were
up.
$13,000 a year.
They're in the five figures. It wasn't much, but it was still in the five figures.
Some just barely. The
Yeah.
big name guys probably were getting paid a lot, but other than that,
Yeah, I can't
Yes.
imagine they'd be balling out after those games.
No player was to receive more than 192,000.
Hmm.
So that's the max a player could receive. I don't know what the average was or
The minimum
was.
was 24,000.
20, yeah.
minimum of 24. Okay, I was on.
24K in '96 is decent.
596. That's not bad.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
team, the team cap was 1,200,000.
Wow.
Well,
1.2
speaking of
mil for the
players,
entire team.
1.2.
Rafi,
Yeah.
do you have any Rafi rumor time? What you got now?
Yes. So, like we talked about last week, FC Dallas was looking at Andre Sosa from Gremio, which would be our third former Gremio person. But that seems to no longer be the case. The Brazilian guy who works in the front office for FC Dallas, Zanato, he says that because we just picked up Franco Jara, the Argentine who's actually Pachuca's highest scorer in Pachuca's history.
Yeah.
And we have Cobra, that there's no need for us to bring another striker. So he wasn't even going to try to go through the whole trouble of trying to find a contract and put things together with Gremio and work all that stuff out. So that's out the window. And it's interesting. So his interview, he says that he goes, we just signed this guy who's, Pachuca's high scorer in history, and we have Czech Republic's starting striker. Big deal. Big man Cobra.
Yeah.
So it seems like FC Dallas is, kind of
Stepping it up.
placing their chips on who we have right now. They seem to be happy with the attacking force. Not to say that there won't be any attempts to sign for other positions. That seems to still be open. But Andre,
I'm trying to think of where we would need to fill in a gap on the team right now, but we've only seen 2 games, so it's kind of hard to even
Yeah.
guess.
I know Joe has a position where the fill-in needs to be in, but we ain't gonna ask him.
That goalie would be great.
Yeah. You would say that.
so to be fair, we don't have a solid backup keep though.
We don't have a backup keeper though. Actually, yeah, you're right about that.
Mara's a solid backup keeper.
But see, I mean, he's older. He plays with North Texas a lot. He's not really our main guy to go to immediately after Jesse.
Right.
I think we should perhaps look into that. But, there's no rumors in terms of goalkeepers or anything like that. But Andre was the biggest rumor, and that is no longer something that we're exploring.
You are fake news.
Well, that Hara guy, if I'm saying it right, I don't know if it's supposed to be Jara or Hara. He's supposed to be a pretty big deal, and it's kind of working out, assuming we ever play again. But he wasn't going to come until summer anyways.
Mm-hmm.
We were only going to get half a season with this expensive player. He's a DP. And so maybe we'll get like a full whatever kind of season we have with him. And maybe he'll score a bunch of goals for us.
He looks good, man. His footage, he looks really good for Pachuca.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. Because Pachuca's a solid Mexican club.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. For a while, they were kicking everybody's ass and everything.
Yeah. And we have Fafa also. So we have a couple of strikers.
Isn't he more of a winger, though?
He is, because he's got a lot of pace and he likes to create a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Difference between him and Maxi is one pace, obviously, and he creates more from the wing versus Maxi created from the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But he's one of our guys going up front. And then always, like I said, we have Santiago Mosquera, who brings in a lot for us when it comes in. Creativity, pace, flair. I think that's a guy. In my opinion, he should be our 12th player.
12th man.
Yeah.
Hey, can we go to our mailbag real quick from our fans? Because I have one. This comes from a Renato in Dallas. He wants to know. Obviously, you guys have really kept him up. He's been a bit depressed, not having anything to look forward to. What came to this, and how you guys decided to get this going again? He thinks it's really great. If he was able to join, he would, but he's never on time. He's never able to join anything. And he's always busy, but he does send his support and love, but it gives him inspiration. So what gave you guys the idea to bring this back together for the fans, the hardcore fans of DDR and FC Dallas, from Renato in Dallas?
It's a good question, Renato. Well, we just picked up where we left off. I mean, I don't think it was that much time since the last episode. I don't think, but anyhow, I felt like it was a good opportunity for us to all get back into this again, because we do this anyway when we see each other. So we do this anyway whenever we talk to each other just personally. So why not just do it, on DDR radio like we did before?
Yeah, and we had 32 people watch it.
Right.
Mostly our moms and us, probably, but on YouTube, yeah. Not bad numbers for the first episode. And was it like 2 years, 3 years? Gabe, when did you take all the microphones away from us again?
It was, 2017. I don't know the exact date, but yeah, it was about 2017. Or was it 18? 2018.
You did everything.
2017.
We had the idea for bringing that, Dallas Diablos radio back. It's something we've thought about. We've talked about a lot. We've met in person and talked about soccer a lot. It's just a matter of, getting everybody's schedules linked back up, trying to think of what the new, what we can do differently, with the same, given the chance to do it again. And so I think this video format is really great. The fact that you can see faces, you can do the screen share that Chop was doing earlier. I think those are, and it's on YouTube. It's a new medium, rethinking like how we can reach people. I think that, it's just like it's not the same thing. It's like we're doing it, but like we're adding some new elements to it, new I think that's what we finally landed on a new format that can make this, work again.
Also, I mean, everyone's got an open schedule at this point, so it's pretty easy to get everyone together.
It's like, no, I can't. Like, now nobody's got an excuse. Like, I can't podcast tonight. I mean, I can't make it across town. Well, can you get in front of your laptop? Because we know that's where you've been, like, all day.
This is literally the only thing I've done today at all. So
Right.
I put on pants.
Just change the shirt.
I cleaned up behind me so it wouldn't look like
Wait,
dirty clothes and stuff everywhere.
Badger, you have pants on?
I have pants on. All right, they're shorts, but they're
You're the only one.
It's
Pants on.
Oh, so two of you do. Okay. Missing out.
Okay.
Pantless broadcast are the way to go.
oh my god.
Don't
Yo,
stand up. Don't be like that guy on that.
Wait, hold on, guys. I gotta get some.
please don't get up.
Turns around. Or how did you guys see the other one with the lady took her phone into the restroom on a Zoom
Oh
broadcast?
yes. Oh
Thank you,
god.
There was another one where the guy
No.
She sets her laptop down on the floor. And she goes,
Yeah.
Wow.
Somebody else did one like 2 days ago where he thought the meeting was over and he stood up and he was in his boxers and he was like stretching his back to the camera and stuff like that because he thought the camera had been turned off and everybody was like, stop, turn it off.
The BBC
Make
guy
sure you
is
hit.
the funniest, man, because the nanny, she rushes in the room trying to pull the kids back, and the kids just screaming and kicking, and the nanny's like,
Yeah.
crawl in. You remember that?
Yeah.
BBC dad, yeah.
Yeah.
We're all
Oh yeah, I
BBC
do remember
dad
that
now.
one. That one was good.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why
you gotta
I
make sure
was-
you.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was like, you gotta hit that end meeting for all button. Or is it end meeting for all or leave meeting for
Leave
all? or
meeting.
something like that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that looks like it's about 35 minutes and we don't really run too long in our show. So anybody got anything they want to wrap up with?
I was good seeing y'all. This is the first time I've seen y'all in a while. Like, I've missed all the Zoom calls. So, I mean, even better if we're going to do it watching soccer together, which is a pastime that I greatly miss ever since I was, bartending for a while. So it's nice.
I agree. I like the form, seeing you all again. And like I said, this is like stuff we basically was just like, hey, let's meet up in Zoom call and like actually record it for, the podcast. If there's not going to be any soccer until like August, we should watch soccer movies. I have a suggestion: The Big Green.
I've never heard of
I'll
it.
make y'all watch The Big Green.
All right,
Done.
everybody, we have a homework assignment for the next episode, which will be I don't know, next week probably, maybe.
At least watch the trailer or something.
All right. All right, everybody.
Cliff
Let's
notes.
play the music and we're going to sign off. So what's the name of it again?
Dallas Diablos Radio.
Diabos Radio.